Hi there folks, Borislav247 here with another Days Gone Challenge Mode video. And on this video, I'm going to show you all how to get a gold score on every single challenge in the easiest way possible. Now, over the course of the past 2 or 3 years, I have come up with a great number of methods in order to get the job done on all of these challenges. But I've never had them all on the one video. And that's basically why I wanted to do this, because I really do want this video to be a one-stop shop for anyone who is looking to take out either some or all of these challenges. Now, for anyone thinking that this video is just going to consist of all my previous methods just put onto one video, that's where you'd be wrong. Because on this video, there are 1 or 2 challenges in particular where I show completely new methods for taking out the particular challenges. There are a great number of challenges where I have heavily tweaked them in order to make them even easier. And because of this, they are not going to be the same as what you've seen in the past. And of course, there is 1 or 2 golden oldies where the methods were just that good. They did not need to be changed in any way, shape or form. And obviously, as the video goes on, you will probably recognize those particular ones. But as well as that, before I attempt each challenge, I will go into great detail about the scoring for each of the challenges, basically the rings that are required, the sub-challenges that need to be taken out in order to get the job done. As well as this, I will actually show the score totals that you will basically get for completing each of the sub-challenges required to a gold standard. So by doing this, you will get a far better idea of just how the process works for getting the gold scores. Now then, before I get onto the action, it's very important to show this, because this is the order in which I'm going to take out all of these challenges. And it's all based on the 3 tiers that I show in this list here. As you can see here, the first 3 challenges, which are the Ambush Camp Rush, Surrounded and Dead Don't Ride, are in the Tier 1 challenges section. And this is purely because no rings are required in order to get the job done for these 3 challenges. And it's self-explanatory as I go down here. Tier number 2 for the challenges, this requires a rep level of 3 or 4 minimum in order to get the full benefit of the rings which I'm going to apply to these 4 challenges. And the final 5, which are in the Tier 3 section, they require a minimal rep level 5 or 6 in order to get the full benefits of the rings. And as well as this, all the challenges that I take on that are in the Tier 1 section, I will be doing with the Deacon character. All the challenges in the Tier 2 section, I will be using Ricky. And all the challenges in Tier 3, I will be using Sarah in order to get the job done. So it's another way just to basically make sure that you know exactly what I'm doing as this video goes on. So now that that's all explained, let's get right to it. Right then, on to the first challenge, and this is going to be the Ambush Camp Rush challenge. Now, before I get into the scoring, the first thing that I want to point out is the patch perk that you unlock when you complete this challenge with a gold score, and it is +3 bullet penetration. This is the best patch perk you can possibly unlock in the game. Not only does this patch perk apply to all the future challenges that you may take on, but it is also immediately applicable to the main Days Gone game. Basically, if you're taking on the Hordes in the main Days Gone game, the Hordes will be far easier to take down with this patch perk. So this one is definitely worth getting. Now, on to the scoring. Of the 4 sub-challenges that are available, there is only 2 that I am remotely interested in, and that is the Camp Ghost and Berserked. Now then, in order to get the 10,000 bonus points for the Camp Ghost sub-challenge, you are required to take out 24 of the 25 marauders in this camp without alerting anyone in the camp. And for the Berserked sub-challenge, in order to get the 5,000 points, you need to get 13 kills using residue bolts. Now, as you can see on screen, these 2 sub-challenges taken out to a gold score standard will give you 15,000 points alone. But as well as this, you will also score extra points for every marauder kill that is made in the camp. And the scores for these will vary depending on where the multiplier is when the action is taking place. Now, if you don't quite have enough points near the very end in order to get the 25,000, I have a fantastic failsafe in place that basically guarantees you will get a gold score. Now, I will warn you folks, this method does take a wee while to complete, but given that you don't have to worry about time, it's all good. This is the easiest way you will possibly get to complete this challenge. So, let's do this. Right then, here we go. Gold score required, 25,000. So straight away, I'm basically looking to turn to my left, head over here and pick up all the items that I can get. Most of them aren't really required in all fairness, but I'm not going to be coming back to this spot. But most importantly, the one thing in amongst that lot that I do require is scrap, because scrap is one of the main components in producing the residue bolts. The other two items are nest residue and what I've just picked up there, which is the cedar sapling. So from here, this is the first marauder that I'm looking to get under the influence of the residue bolt, and it is the armoured guy. Now, I normally say upper left thigh, but it's really the middle of the thigh that you're looking to hit every time. As long as you hit that area, and on the left leg ideally, you'll get him every time. So from here, I'm actually looking to go over to get the first supply of nest residue that is available. Because of the 3 that are available, 2 of them are outside of the campgrounds. But given that the majority of this run is going to take place outside of the camp, yeah, it makes things quite handy. Now, that particular shot there is probably the most difficult shot you'll get in the entire game. If you don't feel comfortable with making that shot, just use a Molotov cocktail that you pick up at the very start and take out that sniper up there instead. But be aware, if you are going to use a Molotov to take out the sniper, make sure that there is no other marauders nearby when you make the throw, because if there is, you do run the risk of alerting the camp. So just wanted to point that out. However, back to the matter in hand here. I am now looking to work my way around the camp and just basically pick off any marauders with residue bolt shots when I have easy shot options. There is only one other marauder that I'm going to target up in this section, but I'll point him out when I get to him. Next important part of this run, yep, that is the second location for the nest residue. Very important to get that stuff because you do need a lot of residue bolts. Throughout this challenge, every time that you play it, there is always an element of uncertainty in terms of how many kills you're going to get from one particular marauder when he starts going nuts. But there is one marauder up here that generally gets more kills than most. But for the time being, I'm just basically looking to get up to this top section because I want to clear out this top area in its entirety. It just makes life a lot easier for when I head back down to the other side, and especially for when I eventually have to actually enter the ambush camp in order to get a few more items. But right now, again, I'm looking for easy shots, and yeah, that's a good one. Not moving about too much, so yeah. While that one is under the influence or about to turn, I'm just going to take the time to get to the other side, because the marauder that I'm after is usually always on the other side. And it does take a little bit of time in getting around that way when you're in the water here. Now, there is a melee weapon up here, and it is the best melee weapon in the game, but for this particular run, it's simply not required. So, anyways, let's see who's in this area right now. And I'm going to use the survival vision just to get a better look here. Now, the marauder that I'm looking for is not around here at the moment. So this one is not doing much in the way of movement, so I might as well take the easy shot there and let's see what this guy can do. Hopefully this one will attract the armoured guy that I am looking to get under the influence of a residue bolt. And I think I've just seen him. Yeah, this Marauder here's doing a very good job of attracting a lot of attention, and that looked like a Molotov being thrown there. Yep. Okay, the poor guy's toast, but he's done a damn good job. That's 4 Marauders taken out there. And there we go. That is the Marauder I'm looking to get now. He's heavily armoured on top, but he's weak on the bottom. So any shot realistically below the waistline is good for getting this guy. So I'm just going to sit back here and let him do his thing. Yeah, so far so good. And holy shit! Motherfucker! I don't believe that. I have actually taken a hit from a stray bullet there. The reason why I'm kind of pissed about that is because at the end of the run, if you manage to take out the camp without any damage whatsoever, you get a 2,500 point bonus at the very end. Well, that bonus is out of the equation now, because unfortunately, yeah, there is damage there. I can see it on the health bar. Motherfucker, how the hell did I take a fucking hit from over here? Okay. There we go. That is the unpredictability of the Ambush Campers Challenge. It really does throw up some surprises. Anyhow, let's move on. Now, at this point, I'm actually very close to getting near the end game section of this challenge, because I can see that the kills remaining is at 9. I ideally want that to get that down to about 5 or maybe even 4 before going on to the next part of the plan. And that's basically to ditch the crossbow and pick up the BFG that's in this camp. But right now, I am looking to take out one of these Marauders with a very risky crossbow shot indeed. I don't recommend you try this, but this one over here isn't doing that much in the way of moving, so I'm going for it. And holy shit, that is a flamethrower guy. I don't know what that guy is doing this far up in the camp, but he needs to be treated like the armoured guy at the very beginning of this challenge. You basically need to make sure that the residue bolt is heading into the thigh area. And thankfully, I got that one with one shot. Or that could have been a tad problematic. Again, I am absolutely bewildered as to what that guy is doing up here, because you normally never see him. The flamethrower guy normally always patrols around the area where the bunker is. However, I can see at the moment they're doing quite a good job, the two of them that I've hit. So I'm just going to wait a little bit longer, and yeah, what the hell. I'm just going to go into the camp now because they are quite busy, so I'm going to take care of this noise trap here first, and then I'm going to head over to the back of this building area here, because the location of the last nest residue that you can get in this camp is very nearby, and I'm going to show exactly where it is. Right there. Now, I can see I've only got 5 kills remaining, so that's it. Goodbye crossbow, hello BFG. However, before I start to use this bad boy, because it is quite a loud weapon, I want to get a suppressor for it, and the good news is there is one available in this camp. So I'm just going to head over and get this right now, and then we're really going to have some fun. And there we go, that is the location right there, folks. So, yeah, I will take the time to make sure that is on right now. I don't want to forget about that and then have a mishap. Certainly not at this stage in the challenge, because it does take quite a long time to take out this camp when you're doing it like this. But it is the safest way by far to get it done, and it's the easiest way. Basically, you don't have any time issues, and you don't need to worry too much about the multiplier either. The multiplier only comes into effect at the very end of the game if you're short of points. And the way this run is going, it looks like I'm actually going to have to go and actually use the last part. Basically, my contingency plan should have been short on points. So, before I take out the last of them, I'm actually looking, yep, up in this area, because I want to leave one marauder from as close to the sniper nest up there as possible. That is the ideal position to leave the last marauder, because from there, if I do have to raid the rest of the camp, then that marauder is going to be oblivious to what is going on. But at this stage, I still need to be careful, because I do require another 2 kills in order to get the last bonus for the Camp Ghost sub-challenge. Now, I'm not even going to bother touching these noise traps, but I'm just being wary as to where they are. Okay, let's go. So the last 3 marauders are clearly all in this area. Okay, this is starting to get a little annoying. I can certainly see one up there. But these other 2... Oh, wait a minute, there we go. Very nice, good night. No. Nope. Unless both of the marauders that I'm looking for are up in this area. And they are, because I can see the one over by the sniper nest there. So there we go. That is virtually all of them taken out. And I can see right now I require 25,000 points. And I'm not going to get it at the moment if I take out the last marauder. So here is the contingency plan. It's all about picking up all the items that I have left, as well as all the marauders that I've killed, because they all leave loot as well. And basically, I'm just looking to work up the multiplier by picking up all these items, and I'll start collecting a whole load of points. In fact, I've started off at 22,000. I expect this to get close to 30,000 come the end of this run. This is the beauty of this method, because if you are short of the points that you require, not a problem. There are so many items in this camp, it is beyond belief. And once you start the multiplier, you might think, oh my god, I've got to go like the clappers in order to pick all these up and make sure that the multiplier doesn't run out. But because of the way that this particular challenge is, you actually get quite a reasonable amount of time every time that you pick up items. So maintaining the multiplier is actually quite an easy affair on this particular challenge. And holy shit. Well, for a good job, I've hit a bear trap when it doesn't really matter. There is no one in this section of the camp that's going to hear that, so I've not alerted anyone. And you know what? Even if I did alert the one last marauder now, it wouldn't matter, because I've already got all of the bonus points for the Camp Ghost sub-challenge. So it is just basically picking up all the items that I can find. And I like to do this as well because I can show everybody exactly where all these items are. Because if you're not that familiar with the camp, yeah, you won't exactly be that aware of where everything is. So, as we get down to the bottom of the camp, I will show another way in order to build up the multiplier as well. Something that I haven't actually done yet, but I'm just waiting to get a lot more supplies here, because I'm picking up all sorts right now. And basically, what I'm looking to do is to actually start to create some more, or craft some more focus cocktails, stamina cocktails. Anything in that section will actually generate more on the multiplier, believe it or not, folks. But right now, yeah, I'm just keeping going with all this. But I will show what I'm talking about in just a minute or so. Okay, very unusual for something to be there, but never mind. Right, okay. This is what I was talking about before. Focus cocktails. Let's see how many I can craft. And as you can see, every time I'm creating one, the multiplier is going up, and of course, more points. I think that's just about it. Okay, moving on. Yeah, as you can see, the multiplier is very close to the 100 mark right now, so yeah, I'm getting good points every time for what I'm picking up. And the last of the items that are left, and I'm not going to bother with them, are basically in the sniper nest and beside it. But I've got more than enough points here now, so the last thing to do, take out the last marauder. And there we go. Challenge complete. Now, I know it does take a bit of time, folks, but how easy is that? And not only have I got the gold score, but I have also got the best patch perk in the entire game. +3 bullet penetration, which is crucial for the next challenge that's coming up. Right then, on to the second challenge, and this is going to be very unusually surrounded. Now, as always, I like to show the patch perk that you can unlock when you take out the challenge with a gold score. And on Surrounded, it is another fantastic patch perk. Basically, it will make you use 28% less stamina for anything that is stamina related. And of course, this isn't just applicable to any of the other challenges, but this is also immediately applicable to the main Days Gone game, so this is a fantastic one to unlock. Now, on to the scoring. Very unusually, virtually all the sub-challenges are redundant because you simply don't require them in order to get the gold score for this challenge. The only reason that ranked is actually being shown is because the method that is required to get the gold score is heavily tied in with this sub-challenge, and it is all about working the multiplier, getting it up to a high enough figure where you will get a gold score and will also get the gold requirement for the rank challenge. And although it says get 300 kills with high chain, you actually require 350 because the first 50 kills are required to prime the sub-challenge. So after those first 50, then you will start to see the kills going up on the ranked sub-challenge. But this particular challenge is only being shown so early because there is now a fantastic new way of getting a gold score on this challenge. And I have a fellow YouTuber to thank for this. His name is CS12 Gaming, who came up with this particular area in order to get a gold score. Now, admittedly, I did have to do a bit of work to ensure that this particular method worked 100% because there is one or two things you need to know about this particular method, but I will explain more about that as this challenge goes on. But all you really need to know is that you need to work on the multiplier in order to get a gold score, and here is exactly how it's going to get done. So let's get to the action, folks. Right then, Surrounded, here we go. This is how it's done. 120,000 is the gold score requirement, so I'm starting off by basically picking up that box of ammunition. Then I'm looking to get to the top of this building that I'm about to start climbing. And once I get to the top of this building, there is another 3 boxes of ammo that will get Deke fully stocked with his weapons that he currently has. Now, once I've got this ammunition, what I want to now do is to arm myself and then hold down the aim button. And while holding down the aim button, basically use those boxes there in order to get to the top of the building, and then just very slowly drop Deacon down until he gets to this ledge section. Once you're on this ledge section and you've shot a couple of the freakers, that's it, you've got their full attention. So they'll congregate nicely below you, and at this point now I'm just going to show what the items are you have available to you for this challenge. And there's a lot of good ones. However, I choose to start with Molotovs, and for a couple of reasons. The first is that these Molotovs don't do a ridiculous amount of damage. I mean, they normally take out round about, yeah, you can see there, that took out 9. Not great when you're trying to maintain a multiplier. But that is basically the second reason why I'm using Molotovs right now, because at this point in time, I am not interested in the multiplier whatsoever. I'm basically looking to take out the first 2 waves of Freakers. Now, this is the first lot here, and very handy timing here. You can see on the screen on the bottom right there of the minimap, it was flashing there. That's basically telling you that the next wave of Freakers is on its way, because there's another horde that have respawned. So, yep, I can see them now because I've got survival vision. That's where they're coming from. The minimap is also very handy for telling you the direction in which they're going to be coming from. But right now, I'm just basically looking to get more Freaker kills until the total amount of kills gets to round about 100. Because it's roughly round about then when the next wave starts to spawn. And here we go, finally. I can see the minimap flashing again, so that means that the next lot of Freakers are heading over to my position. So at this point now, I'm starting to think about getting ready to basically unleash holy hell on these bad boys. So, I want to get over to here, a new section where I haven't attacked them yet, and I'm going to try and get the multiplier going to a strong position very quickly by starting with grenades. Grenades will take out 30 at a time, so this should get the multiplier going pretty high, pretty quickly. Yep, first one in, 33, next one in, 63. Last one, not so effective. Now, that's basically because of the pile of bodies, and this does happen, unfortunately, with this method. It's the one thing that does work against you, because all the Freakers are basically congregating below you. But anyways, after the Napalm Molotov, very important, I want an attractor bomb in place, because at this point, this is the one time where the multiplier is most vulnerable. I don't have many Freakers here, and although there is more on the way, it's waiting for them to arrive. There's not even any point in actually hitting that barrel at this point, because there's not enough of them to make it effective. So, come on. Right, here we go. They're below me. I really am going to go to town with a bit of gunplay here. Now, I don't have to go mad on the gunplay in terms of holding the fire button and just keeping it pressed that way. I just want a good, consistent rate of fire. The fact that I have the patch perk in place from the previous challenge, which is +3 bullet penetration, means that you don't have to fire as fast, and you actually get better results as well, because the +3 penetration really does a fantastic job. And that's another reason why, when I showed this in the past, where I managed to get quite a considerable score, and it's all to do with the fact that because I have that patch perk in place, it just basically gives you more value in terms of Freaker kills for the ammunition that you have. Now at this point again, I've used the last of my Napalm Molotovs, and now I'm in a good position, because I'm basically going to town on the Freakers that are heading over to my position here. This is where the gunplay really comes into its own. It's holding things nicely here, and there we go. That's the gold score done and dusted. But I'm not finished. I'm going to continue, because one or two things to tell you about and to show you. This is the first. If you come over to this section here, you can actually change the pattern of how the horde will try and get to you. They basically have a go at you at this section, and it's very, very handy indeed for gunplay. Not only that, but potentially I could start throwing a lot of explodable items over in that area as well. But you will always get the same problem eventually, because they are always congregating in one specific point. When the bodies start to pile up, that's when your throwables become far, far less effective. Because basically there is that many bodies that they're actually protecting the other freakers. So at this point I'm just going to start to mess about, because the job is already done, and this is actually a very good time to talk about one or two problems that you can get when using this method, because there is a big problem that, if you're not aware of, will all of a sudden make this job a very difficult one indeed if you don't know the information I'm about to say. And it's all to do with actually making sure that you have the challenge set up in the right way. Now, that might sound strange, but here's the thing. I've basically got this method going here from my very first attempt since starting this challenge. Now, if something goes wrong with your first run, whatever you do not select the retry option. If you have to do another run, always first select quit challenge and then reload up the surrounded challenge. It does take a bit longer to do every time, but it has to be done. Because if you don't do this and you select the retry option, basically once you get onto this particular ledge here, the horde will never ever congregate below you. They will basically always climb up this section that I'm looking at here, but they'll actually climb to the very top of this building, and it makes it an absolute nightmare. The only place that you can actually ensure that you can get them to basically have a chance of shooting them is right here where I am now. And if you're trying to get the multiplier up to 300 from the very start by taking them out at this point, it is extremely difficult. So that's just something that you need to be aware of, folks. Now, I can see from the minimap that all of a sudden I have a lot of hordes spawning now. So, you know what? I'm just going to finish off this video by having a little bit of fun at the end here. I've got proximity bombs, and you know what? I'm going to use them. So, just need to find a spot where I can get off safely. And that's it. I'm just going to drop a few of these bad boys. Just get a dive roll in place as soon as I've placed one. Just to make sure that I'm not in the blast radius. And I'll try and get 100 kills, because this will actually take care of one of the other sub-challenges. It's called Trapped. Now, I don't need this in any way, shape or form for points, that's for sure. This is quite literally just to take out another sub-challenge. It's good for rep points. But there we go, that is the job done. Very nice indeed. So there we go, folks. That is the best way you will get right now in order to take out this surrounded challenge. Right then, the third challenge is Dead Don't Ride, and this is basically the last of the challenges that requires no rings in order to get the job done. Now, the patch perk, unfortunately for this particular challenge, is an absolute crock of shit. It basically gives you 20% less slowdown when you're running over enemies. So, not really much help for anything, but it is what it is. They can't all be fantastic patch perks. Okay, on to the scoring. Now, as you can see here, all of the sub-challenges are in play, and when you take them all out to a gold standard, you basically get 31,000 points in bonuses, which pretty much gets you just shy of halfway, as the gold score required is 80,000. The rest of the points basically come from the points that you will get every time that you drop off and pick up passengers. So you do require quite a number of drop-offs, but you do not need to complete the entire 35 drop-offs that are available in this challenge. Now, I'll run through the sub-challenges very quickly before I drop the bomb of the big revelation in order to get this challenge done very easily. The close call sub-challenge requires you to park close to 12 survivors. Not a problem. Wild speed requires you to drop off 4 hard survivors. You don't need to worry about dropping them off happy, you just need to get them to their destination, and that will count towards this one very nicely. The 5-star driver, this requires you to drop off 9 happy survivors. Not a problem when you basically take them out in the first section of this particular challenge, because there is a lot of short runs there. And the final one is Street Sweeper, where you basically have to hit and run over 20 swarmers. Now, here is the revelation that I'm talking about. Everybody is under the impression that you have to be using the boost all the time when you're playing this challenge. You don't. Now, there is one small section of this particular run where you have to hold the boost button for a good 2 to 3 seconds. But that is it. Other than that, you can basically do this entire challenge without having to use the boost button. You are going to lose a little bit of time, but the job becomes so much easier. Because the cart is going nowhere near as fast, you have far more control over it. And trust me, even though you're not going quite as fast, you still have more than enough time in order to get the job done. So, let's just get on with this now, folks. This is how it's done. Right then, 80,000 points is required in order to get the gold score. This is how it's done, folks. Starting off, the very first pickup is basically just following this pathway, and it's the very closest yellow indicator that you will see, or the yellow circle. Make sure that you turn the cart round so that you're facing this way, and it's basically back from where you first came. Get to this drop off, again turn the cart round, because the next drop off is again over this way. Now, 2 swarmers that you can potentially hit en route to this second pickup. The first one's always an easy one. That second one isn't always in that position, so if you don't get the 2 of them, don't worry about it. There are plenty more to get. Now, this next drop off, again, when you get to it, turn the cart round, because the third pickup point is right here. Now, this particular drop off is the only drop off that requires the use of the boost. Now, it's not here. This jump is not a problem. The next one, though, is where you need the boost for. When you get to that spot there, yeah, basically press the boost button, and most importantly, hold the boost button. Because if you don't hold it, you will not make that jump. But now, from here on in, you do not require the use of the boost whatsoever, which makes these far, far easier in terms of controlling the cart. Now, I'm very unlikely to actually make this one to a happy drop-off because of the bad landing there, and this one is quite tight on the time between getting a happy and neutral drop-off, but it's okay, don't worry about it. From here, I'm looking to get to this one here, and again, just turning the cart round because I'm looking to head down this way. There are potentially another 4 swarmers that you can hit en route to this drop-off. There's one there, but I'm not that bothered about that one right now because I could potentially get it on the way back. So, I've got 3 out of the 4, but I've turned the cart round again because the next pickup is right here. And this one is, again, a very easy one because this is virtually straight driving here. I'm just looking to go in between the rock and the trees section there. And from there, just follow this direction right here. It takes you right to this drop-off. Don't even need to turn the cart round for this one because from here, I'm just heading over to the next yellow circle. And I'm looking to get quite close for that one because you do require to get 12 pickups where you're quite close to the passenger. But from here, yep, nice easy job just following the pathway it takes you down to this section. Now, this one here, I'm not bothered about trying to get close to the passenger. Just want to get by that circle, and then I'm looking to turn to my left here. From here, just in between that part there, and then through this section, and then I want to turn the cart round. Job done. From here, I'm looking to head back through that area that I just came through, and here is the next pickup. Again, just looking to get nice and close because it's a nice easy pickup. Now from here, I want to hit that swarmer if possible. Now, between the rock and the tree there is a nice gap. When you're doing it with boost, it's actually quite a tricky one, but in this case, not a problem. Now then, on to the first of 4 hard drop-offs that need to be made. Now this particular one is a little bit unusual as you are going off-road in order to get this done. These 4 trees here, I'm looking to go through them, and from here I am looking to avoid that road section. because the quickest way in order to get this one done is just basically following the line that I am taking here right now. And this will get you over to this area quite quickly. You will get a few bumps along the way because of the terrain, but it's all good. Now there we go, that is one of the sub-challenges taken care of because that was a happy drop-off. But the next one is down here. A bit of a jump to get over, but it's not a problem and you do not require the boost. From here, I'm looking to head up here, turn the cart round at the top. Now, there's a few swarmers here. Any that you have the chance of hitting, do so. From here, heading up the hill, and then I'm over to this section here. Again, this one can be quite tricky to get done to a happy standard, but don't worry if you don't. The worst case scenario is that you're going to lose 3 seconds of time. But as I've already explained, you get more than enough time in order to get the job done for this challenge. They're really quite generous with what they give you time-wise. Now, en route to this next one, I'm going to try and hit some more of these swarmers here. Then I'm looking to turn to my left here, up this hill. There is a person up there, but don't worry, you can run right through them. And then you just have to navigate these trees, then turn the cart round at the very top, and this takes you nicely to the next pickup. Now this one here, I'm just going to make a point of trying to get quite close, because it's a nice easy pickup. And from here, it's just down the hill. The only thing you have to watch for is near the end here, there is a police car that you have to avoid. It's right in the middle of the road, but that's okay. Now from here, I'm looking to turn the cart round, which will get me set nicely for the next pickup, which is just basically at the very top here. So I'm looking to turn to my right, and then, yeah, I'll actually even use that sign just to slow me down nicely. From here to my left, just follow up the road here. Nice easy straight line up here. Turn the cart round again, and there we go, job done. Now then, the next 2 pickups that I'm going to make are going to be for hard survivors because they're both going to be in red circles. And en route to this first one, I'm looking to take out that swarmer right there and look to get close to get another close pickup. So this one I'm not worried about in the slightest because I know it's going to be a neutral drop-off. It is very rarely that you'll ever get a happy drop-off with this if you're not using boost. But that's okay. This is the route to get to the destination. Just follow this road, and it is basically up until you get to this point here. You see those trees, then you're looking to turn to the right just after them, and that gets you onto this section here where it is quite simply just a straight line in order to get to the drop-off section. So I've lost 3 seconds of time there. That is it. Instead of getting 5 seconds, I'm only getting 2, but that's okay. You're still scoring the same amount of points, basically, for the drop-off anyhow. The time factor is all that you're missing. And I'll be perfectly honest, unless you're actually going for a top 25 leaderboard score, then the extra time that you get it's not applicable. It's only when you get to the very end of a run and you've completed all 35 drop-offs that you get an extra 2,000 points for every single second of time that you have remaining. So you just don't need to worry about that because this challenge will be completed long before you get to 35 drop-offs. But this next drop-off is a bit of a crazy one. I'm looking to pick the guy up there, again keeping it reasonably close, and that's grand because that's basically got the gold standard taken care of for the close pickups. And from here there is another swarmer up here. Again, don't worry if you don't get him. From here, there we go, that is the gold score done. But I'm not stopping just yet. I want to show a few more of these pickups and drop-offs just for anyone who maybe hasn't got the 80,000 at this point. It might be a case of that you've just not managed to get 1 or 2 of the sub-challenges taken care of, so you're a tad shy. That's no problem. A few more of these runs will get the job done. Now this particular drop-off, bloody hell, this is probably the longest drop-off you'll have to make. You're going from one side of the map to the other, basically for the playable area of this challenge. because yeah, I'm not done yet here, but there is another couple of swarmers en route here. I've missed that one, but I'm not worried about that. I'm just basically heading up to this section right here. And as you can see, even without a boost, I've still made that to a happy standard as well. So the next one is it's actually going to be this one over here. Now, from here, this is a nice easy one. I'm just going to cut the corner here. I'm not going to use the road. And then from here, it's just up to this circle here. And another swarmer that can potentially be taken out. And that one's always an easy job. So the next pickup is right over here. Now, this is another hard survivor. And you'll see why. Because the drop-off area for this one is a little bit difficult. It's very bumpy road that you're going over here. Now, I'm not going to take the normal route that I would. I have a far riskier line that I'd normally take. I'm basically going to follow the road until I get to that section there and then go through the trees. It's a neutral drop-off, but again, I'm not bothered. Still going to get the job done here at just basically picking up more points. And this is the final run that I'm going to be showing for this challenge. Because by this time, pretty much guaranteed you will have the gold score taken care of after you have dropped off this particular passenger. And this is the easiest route to get to this one. Head down here, you do have a bit of water, it's no problem. Take your time about this. And there we go. Now, in order to finish this challenge, the only way that you can actually do it is either let the time run out or go into deep water. And that will do the job nicely. And there we go, that is every sub-challenge taken care of. Gold score is done and dusted. There's confirmation that it's the patch unlocked, but it's shit. Right then, on to the fourth challenge, and this is going to be Dead Before Daylight. Now, this is the first challenge that actually requires the use of rings in order to make the job easier. So I'm going to take care of the rings first before I do anything else. The first ring that I'm going to be using is bullets. Basically, when you do a dive roll, depending on the level that you have for that ring, it will restore so much ammunition. And the second ring I'm going to be using is Lionheart. Basically, when you're using a focus cocktail, any kills made while in focus mode will generate more focus when you have this particular ring. So it's a very handy one to have, especially given that one of the sub-challenges involves the use of kills when in focus mode. Now, on to the patch perk for this particular challenge, and it's not a fantastic one, but you do get a 15% health increase when you complete this challenge with a gold score. So yeah, it's certainly better than the last patch perk that I unlocked, that's for sure. Now, the important part, onto the scoring. Now, as you can see, all of the sub-challenges do play their part here, but it's not essential to get them all completed to a gold standard. However, if you do get them all completed to a gold standard, boy, the bonuses alone from these four will get you 39,000 points. So basically just over 8,000 points shy of getting the gold score. Now, given that for every freaker kill, or sorry, swarmer kills that you get while playing this challenge, your score is going up as this is going along. As well as when you're getting explosive kills and whatnot. So already the job for this one is looking a rather easy one, especially when you take on this challenge in the way that I show, because I have come up with a tweaked version of how I've done this in the past that makes the job even easier than what it was before. Now, the sub-challenges that are the most important are basically Obliterate, where you're required to get 100 kills using the Growler. This is basically the Gatling gun that you're first introduced to in the challenges. And the second sub-challenge that is the most important is Homebody. You need to spend a full 5 minutes inside the house. Those two alone will get you 27,000 points. Now, of the other two that are left, Explodable I pretty much take care of because of the way in which I take on this challenge. And the final one, which is Alert, when you need to get 50 kills when in focus mode, is the one that you need to be least worried about. If you do get the 50 kills, great. If you don't worry about it. It's not going to make too much of a difference, really. So, that's pretty much it explained for this one, because it's really all about actually just explaining as I'm going through this particular challenge. Because this particular challenge is very good in the fact that there are a number of on-screen prompts that appear, and when working with these on-screen prompts, it just basically makes the timings for each section very easy to do. Right, just one thing left to do before starting this challenge. I want to change the character to Ricky because I am now on to the Tier 2 challenges. Okay, Dead Before Daylight. First thing I want to do is to change the weapon. I want the IDF pup there. Grab those focus cocktails. Then I'm wanting some ammunition. Over here, I want these items. And then, finally, that section there. And that lot. Now I'm ready to work. First thing I want to do is to have an attractor at the ready. I'm waiting for one piece of wood to fly off that door, and that is basically my cue to throw that attractor. Now, once the swarmers come in here, I'm not looking to throw this pipe bomb straight away because there is more swarmers coming in here. So I'm holding off for as long as I can. That's it. This should take out 20. Fantastic. From there, heading back through here. This is very important. I'm just going to pick up some ammo while I'm here. I basically want to get into this section because this dictates where the next lot of swarmers are going to try and attack the house from. And now, at this point, I'm just looking to hold them off here for a substantial amount of time. Basically, yep, this is what I was talking about before, on-screen prompts. You can see wave 2 incoming. I want to make sure that the second wave are all taken out from this spot as well. I'm really not interested in having them come into the house yet. Now this isn't going to last forever because once the third wave is incoming, I will take out some of them from outside, but then I will move out of the way because you will start to struggle to hold off the third wave when they do appear. There's quite a number of them, and that is basically going to be the prompt to basically move. So this is going very nicely, and although I'm not actually choosing to use focus at this point in time, I save it for later on. But you do have the option if you want to try and take care of the sub-challenge where you do take out swarmers while in focus mode. This section here is not a bad time to do it. Now, I've got the wave 3 incoming, so I am getting ready to move. I'll take out one or two more, but yeah, I can see the numbers now getting quite great. So I want to move back, and I'm basically just going to wait until they burst that door open. Then I'm going to hit that explosive, and then I'm going to use another attractor. I want it at the bottom of the stairs. That just basically ensures that I can get up here safely. I'll get some more ammunition, and then I'm going to wait because, yep, they're grouping nicely. But as soon as they go away from that attractor and start running towards me, yeah, that barrel's going to get it. And there we go. That is the 50 kills that I require with explosives taken care of already. Now, I'm going to try and hold my ground here for a bit, and truth be told, I shouldn't have to have too much in the way of work here because their numbers are not that great. And I'm just waiting to see the prompt, and there we go. Wave 4 incoming. Yep, that is my cue now to leave. I want another attractor at the ready because I'm heading up to the last area that I'm going to be making my final stand. Just going to pick up them items there just for a bit more ammo, but here we go. The growler. This is the final stand for sure, and this is where I'm going to use the focus cocktails. I've only got 2 of them, but that's fine. This should do the job. If I don't get the 50 kills while in focus, I don't care, because I will still get the gold score, guaranteed. It is the least, it's the least important sub-challenge to be bothering with by far. So this is now quite literally a case of every time that I'm seeing the swarmers coming up here, going into focus mode. And very important, when you're using the growler, do not hold down the fire button. Just basically use the growler in short bursts. That way you will conserve more of the ammunition and you will be guaranteed to get the 100 kills that you're required to get with this weapon. So the first focus cocktail was no more, so I do need to get this next one in place. But the beauty of finishing off like this is, well, it's a pretty obvious one. Although you are trapped up here, the swarmers have only got one direction in which to get to you. And it's basically a long corridor section, which makes picking them off exceptionally easy. And yeah, I don't have much longer before I'm going to get the gold score taken care of for this one. I've got the prompt there, 1 minute left, wave 5 incoming. Yeah. Where am I on the kills? Yep, not long ago now, because most of these swarmers should be heading up this way now. And as soon as I get the 100 kills here, this should actually bring up the gold score, because I've taken care of 3 of the 4 sub-challenges. And that's why I was saying before about the one involving focus. If you don't get the 50 kills while in focus mode, just don't worry about it, because this score is going to shoot up at the very end anyways once I've been in the building for 5 minutes. And at the very end of this challenge, the swarmers are struggling to get to you anyways. They're more in the bottom section. And there we go. Job done. That is, in my opinion, the best way by far to take out this particular challenge. I've tweaked it since showing some of the other ones in the past, and that one works extremely well. And there is also a new rep level in place, so fantastic. Right then folks, on to challenge number 5, and this is going to be reload. Now, I now have rep level 4 in place, so what I need to do now is to basically fully upgrade the rings that I'm going to be using for every challenge. And this is, for this particular one, is going to be bullets and Lionheart, the same rings as I was using in the last challenge, but now they are fully effective. A dive roll will fully reload the weapon that you had, and Lionheart will basically give you more focus time for every focus kill that you get. Now, onto the patch perk that will be unlocked for this challenge, and it is going to be 20% less damage taken when your bike suffers damage through jumps and water. Actually a very handy one to have for some of the later challenges coming up, because there is 3 bike challenges still to take care of, so that will play its part later on. Now onto the scoring. Now, there are only 3 sub-challenges that I'm going to be concerning myself with here, but the most important one by far is the Pyromaniac sub-challenge. As you can see, you get a whopping 25,500 points from taking out 125 freakers using barrels or crates. Now, in order to get the maximum benefit scoring-wise in this particular challenge, you ideally want to be getting burning kills. Now, on screen, these will come up as explosive kills, but that is inaccurate, because if any of the freakers initially get killed with the explosion, you just get normal standard points for this, based on the multiplier. But when you get what this game calls explosive kills, but are actually burning kills, the score per kill is 5 times higher than a normal kill. Now, doesn't mean that much at the very beginning of the challenge, but it is huge come the end of it. And because of this, the majority of the run will just be concerned with taking out barrels and crates while having the horde following you. Now, the other two sub-challenges that are shown here are One Shot and Concentrated, and they are both taken care of at the very start of the challenge because I'll be using the BFG, and it does a devastating job in taking out these two sub-challenges. As well as that, it also builds up the multiplier at the very start very quickly. This is hugely important because it really is all about making sure that you maintain the multiplier when going on this particular run. Because as that multiplier starts to go up, all these burning kills that I was telling you about earlier on, yeah, they start to become really big points-wise. The last sub-challenge, which is Resourceful, is no longer needed because this is a new tweaked run. This works better, I think it's easier to take out, and just wait till you see what you can score when you take care of the challenge this way as well. So, let's get to it. Right, this goes pretty fast right from the start, so here we go. First thing, go into focus mode, one shot to the barrel and one shot to that tank. After that, I'm looking to do a dive roll, activate a focus cocktail, then switch to the BFG. That gets me distance, and I'm just basically going to go to town on them. A few shots, then I'm going to do a dive roll. That will ensure that the weapon reloads because of the bullet ring, and after that, I'm moving on. One up here. That's already two of the sub-challenges taken care of, and it's not very sporting of that freaker there, kicking away the tank, but never mind. I'm looking to just hit one of the tanks and one barrel there. I'm looking to run through here. Once I've got my way through there, turn around quickly, back into focus mode, and then take out the tanks and that barrel. And after this, it's just hitting them hard with these explosions every time they come forward. And it keeps the multiplier going very nicely. This next shot, do not worry if you don't manage to make it, because sometimes there are so many freakers that you just won't get the shot in, but it doesn't matter because the next lot of kills are coming right at this point here. Because all of these kill points are very close together, you never have to worry about that multiplier. From here, I'm looking to hit that lot of tanks over there as well. That'll get a few more kills. From here, I'm heading over to the side, and I want to this very point here, because from there it gives you the perfect area in which to make the shot, and it congregates them nicely. Now that's a goal score already taken care of, but I'm not done. I'm going to take out the lot, and this is how I'll finish this off. I'm looking for the hole in the fence line here. What this will do, it will actually give you a bit of a break because all the freakers now are heading towards the entrance up there. I'll let a couple of them through, but then I'm going to hit them with a barrage of flames because there is another 3 barrels around this area here that they're going to run into very quickly, so they'll start to damage them every time if they don't outright kill them, and these burning kills really will stack up. So the last one here. Now, I do have other explosives around, but I think I've taken out virtually the entire horde here, so yeah, there's virtually none left. And yet, for anybody who is wondering why the game was paused like this at the end, basically it's come up on screen, you can't see it, but it was basically telling me that I wasn't connected to the internet, so if I was on an extremely high score there, it wouldn't have counted, but it doesn't matter. For the purposes of this video, I just needed to get a gold score in place, and look at that, 165, over double the amount required. So on to the next one. Right then, on to challenge number 6, and this is going to be Black Friday. This is another one of the Endless Horde challenges. Now, before I show the patch perk, I am going to do a little bit of changing with the rings. I already have the bullets ring in place, but I also want the ram one in place. This is basically whenever you're climbing or vaulting anything, basically this ring will restore some of your stamina, which is a fantastic ring to have for any of the Endless Horde challenges. Now, onto the patch perk that you can unlock when you take out this challenge with a gold score. And this is another very good patch perk. It's basically your stamina regenerates faster, and in this case, when you've completed this challenge to a gold score, it will start to regenerate 20% faster. So that is another huge patch perk to unlock, which will come in very handy for some of the other challenges, but also for the main Days Gone game. Now then, on to the scoring. Now, as you can all see, folks, I have every single sub-challenge basically cancelled out here, because for the very simple reason, and this applies to all the Endless Sword challenges, the quickest and easiest way in order to get a gold score every time is by simply working the multiplier. You want to get the multiplier started, and you want to make sure that it doesn't drop. And you can do this basically by making kills. And the way that I show how to get this challenge done, you really don't have any point where you have to worry about the multiplier at all. Even if worst case scenario comes and you lose the multiplier before you get into the position required with the growler and you have to start again from scratch, it doesn't matter, because the growler is an absolute insane piece of weaponry. Once you start with that bad boy, you simply don't have anything to worry about with the multiplier. It's just a case of not if but when you actually hit the gold score. Now, I do have a run route very similar to this one, but this particular one has been tweaked, so it is even easier than what it has ever been. There are one or two things that you do have to know when trying to do it like this, but I will explain as the run goes on. So, without any further ado, let's get this job done, folks. Right then, another quick challenge, so I'm going to have to talk fast while this is going on. First things first, the SAF-12 needs to be picked up. From here, I'm looking to run to get to the next area, which is basically going to be where the grenades are, right there. After I pick them up, again, hugely important, you have to keep running, because if you don't, the first area that I'm going to be throwing the grenade from, you simply won't get to without alerting the freaks. And then basically you're going to have problems. But anyways, once you get here, first grenade right over there. Then I'm just going to use the SAF to get their attention. I'm not bothered about how many kills I get. The second grenade goes right there. So already that's the multiplier up to 63. Now, another important point here. Get the grenade round about there. After it goes off, use a dive roll. Hugely important. If you don't and you just run off that area, you might get caught by some of the freaks. When you're doing a dive roll, basically, you will push any of the freakers out of the way. Next thing, make sure the SAF is in play, hit that barrel, that is it. From there, the multiplier now should be solid until you start the attack with the growler. And the route to get to the growler is just right over here. You require 100 freaker airs, that's no problem, I have 107 of them. So from here, I'm heading down to the bomb section. First dive roll, second dive roll, and third dive roll. Always use the dive rolls, far safer, you take less damage. First area I want to get to now for using the growler is right here. So I'm going to let loose with quite a bit, but I am going to move from this position, because you can only get away with this position for so long. Round about there, that's enough for me. But the next area that I'm going to is where I'm going to make my final stand. And in 1 second you'll see why this area is so damn effective. It's right here. I have to make 2 climbs in order to get to the roof section. But here is the thing, and so do all these freakers. They've got 2 levels to go up before they get to you. And because of that, and because I'm using this growler, it is extremely easy to defend. Just moving about left to right here, right to left. And another thing, I'm actually using bursts of fire with the growler. You don't have to, you can keep your hand held on the trigger if you like. I just tend to use the growler in this way because you get a little bit more kills for your ammunition. But for this particular challenge, it doesn't really matter too much. And there we go. How easy is that? That is by far the easiest way you will ever get to take out the Black Friday challenge to a gold score. Right then, 6 down and 6 to go. Up next is challenge number 7, which is Infested. Now, the rings required for this challenge are already in place because I've just completed the Black Friday challenge. So I'm going to go straight on to the patch perk that you can unlock when you take out this challenge with a gold score. And again, it's quite a good one, as all the patch perks generally are for the Endless Sword challenges. This one's called Stopwatch, and it basically allows your focus to regenerate 20% faster than normal. So a very good one for some of the other challenges coming up, and a fantastic patch perk for the main Days Gone game. Now then, on to the scoring. Now this one is pretty much identical to the Black Friday challenge. All of the sub-challenges are pretty much redundant because the main way, the easiest way in order to get a gold score on this is to basically start the multiplier and make sure that it doesn't drop. And on this particular challenge, there is something that makes the job a little bit easier than normal. It's a very unusual thing, but it does have to be put in place before the multiplier starts when going for a gold score. And I'll explain more about that once the action starts. But the one thing I can't stress enough is this. Once you do start working on the multiplier, you do have the slight problem that you just don't know exactly where the hordes are going to respawn from every single time. So a little bit of doing your own thing will come into play, but if you just follow the general steps that I use, and there is one very specific building that I use in this challenge, anyone can make this work. So, with all that being said, let's get to the action. Right, Infested, here we go. Right from the off, I'm looking to enter the house on the left-hand side here, and basically with the Molotov that I'm already armed with, just throw it at that infestation zone right there. But from here, I'm wanting to get out of here quickly because I don't want to engage the horde yet. There are three things that I basically want to get my hands on. The first, which is the most important, is the SMP-9, which is right up here, because at the start of this challenge you basically start off with the little stubby, and it's freaking useless. Second of all, here there is some more ammo in here, but more importantly there is a med kit. So there we go, that is all I need basically to get started on this. Now I do need to engage the horde because time is running out, and the only way to increase the time is to get kills, but I'm not looking to start the multiplier off yet. The most important setup part has not yet been done, and it's all to do with the open zone that I created when I basically threw that Molotov. You can see at the moment a big circle that is getting smaller and smaller by the second, and basically I'm looking for that to completely disappear. In fact, it'll start to come to view more here right now. Yeah, now you're starting to get an idea. Basically, any kills that you normally make inside that circle would be double the points. Now you're thinking, yeah, I've maybe not taken full advantage of that, but there is a way in order to create a permanent open zone for the entire play area of this challenge, and that's precisely what I'm going to do. But at the moment I'm just looking to get a little bit of distance away from the freakers, and this particular spot here is fantastic because there's only one way to get onto this rooftop here. So the horde will congregate below you, and you can just get some nice easy kills. But even more importantly, this basically bunches them up very nicely in one specific spot. So when I do end up going back to the house, yeah, it should be a nice easy run indeed. So I've got pretty much a good amount of time on the clock right now, so I'm just checking to see where the remaining hordes are at this point, and sod's bloody law, they're coming from that direction. This is what I said, the unpredictability about where they respawn from every time can give you problems, but in this case I'm simply just looking to get them up this hillway, and then, you guessed it, I'm looking to head them back down here, because this is the easiest way by far to get the entire horde behind you. Again, I'm going to basically get a few shots in here just to get some more time on the clock, and that's it, now I'm moving. And just to be extra safe, yeah, an attractor bomb's going to be coming into play here. So at this point now, I'm looking to head back into this house that I originally started the zone from, into the room here. When you see that blue light, that is it. You basically have a completely open zone for the entire play area of this challenge. So basically what that means is every kill now that you get is worth double the points of what you'd normally get. So at this point, I'm looking to start the multiplier soon, but I don't have that many in the way of freakers at the moment. I know just by looking at them that they're really down in numbers, but there we go. I've just seen on the minimap right now, there's another two hordes spawning, basically from my left here. So, once again, I'm going to go back to this house here. Just climb on up here, And again, this is just another way to bunch them up. As I mentioned earlier on, it's basically this challenge you do have to do a lot of improvising, because you just never can be sure as to where they're spawning from. You can get all sorts of problems. So let's take a look. Yep, that is them all now right behind me. And this house right here is basically what I'm going to be going about all the time while actually working on the multiplier. But the multiplier for getting the job done with this particular challenge, you only need to get it to round about 200 in order to get the job done. Normally the 120,000 goes round about that. So I am now at the stage, I want one more attractor. And now, just to get a nice quick start on the multiplier, I'm going to fire a napalm Molotov over at the pack. And then I'm going to go to town on them with gunplay. Just going to head on in here. This just gives them a barrier that they basically have to climb over before they get to me. And it just makes for a fantastic spot where you can get the multiplier going really quickly. Because in a very short space of time there, I've already got it up to 88. So I'm not letting up. I want another attractor in play. And then I'm going to hit them hard again. Even though I actually don't have that many freakers left. There is more coming though. Yep, and they're actually all coming from quite a decent direction this time. So now, yeah, I can really just go to town here. This is nice. So they're coming over. Let's see what else I can use here. Another tractor, why not? And I'll make sure I get another throwable into play here. Yeah, do you know what? I'm close to getting the job done anyways, so that is a bit of overkill there, given that that wasn't the biggest of groupings right there. But there we go. That is it, job done. Now, if I wanted to keep going, I'd be in a fantastic position because that is a really strong multiplier, but not required. The job is done. And there we go. That's how easy that particular challenge can be when you just take your time with it. And in taking this particular challenge out now, because I've taken out 7 to a gold standard, that should get me up to a rep level 5. And there we go. That's it right there. Happy days. On to the next challenge. Right then, on to challenge number 8, and this is going to be Drifter's Run. This is basically the first of the 5 challenges that are in the tier 3 category, meaning that you require rings that are of a level 5 or higher. Now the first thing that I'm going to do is to say goodbye to Ricky and hello to Sarah. And now I want to change the rings. The first one that I'm going to employ is gear. Airtime on your bike conserves fuel. This is a very nice one to have, especially on this challenge, because there is a risk of you running out of fuel if you don't use this ring. The second one that I'm going to be using is Snake. You have to have something that you can repair your bike with, and this does a very nice job, especially as one of the sub-challenges does involve drifting. And a lot of the jumps on this particular challenge are really quite high and can do a lot of damage to the bike, so you must have something that can repair the bike. Anyhow, on to the patch perk that you can unlock from this challenge. And as much as it pains me to say, this is the worst fucking patch perk you can possibly unlock. It is fucking useless. Basically, it refuels your bike refuels faster. There is not a challenge where this helps you with, and even in the main Days Gone game, it doesn't feel like it's any faster. So let's just get to the scoring. And as you can see on screen, all 4 of the sub-challenges are in play for this one. And if you actually calculate the total of all these sub-challenges, if you take them out to a gold standard, it comes to 80,000 points. And that is the gold score requirement. So if you get all 4 of these in a run, you're all good. You can do it without getting all 4 of these to a gold standard, but there are some of these that you need to prioritize over the others. Now, the most important one by far is Furious. You need to be clearing this challenge in less than 2 minutes and 35 seconds to get that whopping 30,000 point bonus. The second sub-challenge that you need to give full consideration to is the ramped up. Basically using 14 ramps over the course of a run. Now, by taking out the ramped up, you will automatically take out the airtime because you only require 30 seconds of airtime. And if you manage to use all 14 ramps, I assure you, you will take care of the airtime. Now, the slider is the last one. It requires you to get 20 seconds in total of drifting, but you can quite easily get away with 15 seconds, sometimes even a bronze score on this particular one. You can still get the job done, but you do have some good opportunities to get some drifting in place on this challenge. So there's actually no reason why you can't get everything done on this. You just need to have a good knowledge of the run route. And I'm basically going to explain as I'm going along on this route exactly the areas that you need to be most aware of. And there's certain jumps when you make that you have to make sure you're going off the ramp in a particular direction. So I will point them out as this run goes on. So with all that being said, let's get right to it. Right, Drifter's Run, 80,000 points required. This is how it's done. The one thing I can't stress enough is that the route is very, very important because there are checkpoints that you must go through. They're basically highlighted in yellow. Now, coming up to the first ramp, I want to be going off this to my right. That just basically gets you a fantastic angle to make the jump quite easily there. Next one, straight over. The bike is going to get clattered when it lands, but that can't be helped. After this, it's a straight section here. Now, this next jump, you've got to be going off that ramp to the left. Don't worry about that tree there, because as long as you don't hit the trunk, you're fine. The leaves and branches on top do not do anything. Next jump here, very important. It's got to be to the right of that one, or you will get into bother. Now, this is one of the points where I used to get a little bit of drifting in. I'm basically just setting myself up for the next jump right here, and it's just straight over that one. Now, this next part here, I'm looking to get to the next checkpoint. Now, this point here, I'm looking at that line right there, just to get over that section. Now, from here, I've got to go down this way because this is the next checkpoint section. We'll slow down a bit on the speed there. Now, this next ramp over to the left of it, I don't want to go anywhere near the horde that's down there. This next ramp, again, you don't need that much in the way of speed, just make sure you go over it. Onto the next ramp over here. Once you land here, you're looking to turn to the left because the next checkpoint is at the very top here. Now, there is a freaker up in that direction there, but don't worry about it too much. Next part here, I'm heading towards that rock, but then turn to my left. Now, this particular one here, you want to be going off that ramp to the left. If you go straight over it, you are going to get into trouble. Now, at this point, I'm actually going to use the pathway here. Or the road, sorry. Next checkpoint right up here. Not hanging about. Trying to get a bit of drifting in here as well. And the next jump here, just straight over. Now, again, I can get a little bit more in the way of drifting here. I'm not worried too much about the multiplier. I think I've already lost it at one point, but that's okay. Right, this next one, all good. And this last one here, that should be the 14 in play. And from here, I've got a lot of time on my hands. And I've actually completed everything, so I can just go and get the job done here. There we go. And because I didn't take any damage off any of the freakers hitting me, I also got a nice 2,500 point bonus as well at the very end. So, fantastic. Job done. On to the next challenge. Right then, challenge number 9 is going to be keep them safer. And there is a very good reason why this challenge is taken on so late. And it's all to do with one very specific ring. It's the fleur-de-lis, which I'm now about to arm. In order to fully upgrade this ring, you need to have a rep level 5. And once you have that bad boy in place, basically you get extra bolt penetration from the bolts when using the crossbow. Hugely important, as one of the challenges is dependent upon this job being done. Now, the second ring that I've decided to use is Lionheart. I won't need it too much, but there's not really a second ring that helps me too much in this challenge. Lionheart basically will give you more focus when you make kills while in focus mode. Anyhow, now that that's taken care of, let's take a look at the patch perk that you can unlock when you get a gold score on this challenge. And it's a fairly decent one. basically your focus will decrease 20% slower. Unfortunately, it's not going to help hugely on the remaining challenges that are coming up, but it will certainly help you in the main Days Gone game. Okay, finally on to the scoring. Now, as you can all see on screen, all 4 of the sub-challenges are listed here, but only 3 of them are required in order to get the job done for this challenge. Now, the first 2 pretty much work hand in hand because you're basically required to take out the entire horde without taking any damage and without using a dive roll, although it says a dodge roll here. So just by making sure that you don't get hit and that you don't do a dive roll, that automatically takes out 2 of the sub-challenges, which is 90,000 points there. Now the third sub-challenge, this is the one that everybody seems to have the trouble with. It's called Bolted, and it requires you to get 50 kills with the crossbow. The issue that most people have is that they're constantly letting me know that the horde, or some of the freakers, are coming up to the position. Now, I don't experience this very often at all, and there are some things that I will explain while I am taking out this sub-challenge. But if you do happen to get some freakers that come up to your position, don't worry about it too much. Just basically move back, hide, and then take them out with crossbow kills, and then get back to doing what needs to be done in order to get the 50 kills. And that will get the job done. Now, there is also another sub-challenge here, which I have highlighted for the bronze requirement. 30 headshots will get you 10,000 points. But honestly, it's not required, folks, because you're constantly getting points for all these freaker kills. And as well as this, there is also a time bonus at the end of this challenge. And it can vary from 23,000 to 15,000, depending on how quickly you do it. There is more than enough points to get the job done, so this is how it's done, folks. Right then, keep them safer. Worth knowing, this is a golden oldie in terms of getting the job done, but I'm going to start by basically getting extra ammo from the back of the bike. Then I'm going to position myself at the back of the bike, and I basically require 50 bolt kills here. Now, 1 or 2 very important things to know about here. The first is that I'm basically shooting over to the left hand side or in the middle section of this horde, which is basically over the top of the log pile. Never go to the right unless you're close to getting your 50. I usually don't bother with going over to the right hand side at all until I'm at least round about 42, 43 kills with the bolts. Now, the other thing, hugely important, do not stop firing. If you do stop firing and take 5 to 10 seconds before thinking about firing another shot, trust me when I say you will start to get some of the freakers coming up towards your position. Basically, if you keep these 2 things in play, you shouldn't get too much bother. And this is now, you can see I'm starting to favour the right hand side here purely because I'm just about done here. And there we go, now I am done. So at this point, as always, I'm taking a wide berth at this point because I know now freakers will start to be heading up towards my previous position. I just want to make sure that I'm not seen. Now, that is the hardest part of this particular challenge done, because the rest of this now is basically just creating a good multiplier and basically taking out the rest of them. And I have a very specific way of doing all this now, and it is very safe. I'm going to start off with the 3 napalm molotovs, and then basically I'm going to throw as many of my explosive items that I can possibly get away with safely before the horde get to me. Yep, I can see one heading towards my position now, so come off the truck. Do not dive roll. Never ever dive roll. I can't stress that enough. From here, I'm basically heading over to this small truck over here. Very handy because there is only one way that the freakers can get to here, so I basically make sure to use up all the ammunition in that particular magazine before I have to reload. When I'm reloading, that's it, I'm off. Now, looking to get a focus cocktail in play here, stamina cocktail just for the hell of it. And now I'm ideally looking to try and get 30 headshots in total. Now don't worry about it if you don't get this done, because it's not essential. I'm just doing it for good measure. Basically, at this point, you should have enough points to get the job done. So the numbers, yep, I have less than 20 of them now, so I'm going to hit them barrels just for the hell of it. But the last safety feature in this particular run is coming up in just 1 second, because I can see them, yep, one or two of them might be going around the other side of this truck. I'm not giving them the chance to flank me. Basically looking to come down here, and the fence line here just does a fantastic job of lining them up for you with no surprises. And look at that, 17,000 point bonus, very nice. And there we go, that's over 20,000 ahead of the score. And because I've taken out so many sub-challenges, that should be the rep level 6 in place, which now is fantastic. Right then, on to challenge number 10, which is going to be Hog Wild. And again, this one has been left very late because one of the rings requires a rep level 6 in order to fully upgrade it. Now, the first ring I'm going to employ here is Snake. I already have that upgraded fully, but the second ring is going to be Engine. Airtime on your bike restores nitrous. This is hugely important given the way that I'm going to show to take out this challenge, because nitrous has an awful lot to do with getting the job done in the way that I show. Because this run is done in a way that I've never shown before, and I'm actually going to have some on-screen prompts which will help show exactly how this is done. It basically turns a potentially tricky challenge into a far easier affair indeed. Now then, on to the patch perk. And the patch perk for this particular challenge is actually a very good one. Although it's only going to be of limited help to me for the remainder of the challenges, especially given that the next one is Outride, and I don't actually need it anyways. Basically, this will give you 60% better accuracy when shooting from the bike. It's a fantastic patch perk to have when playing the main Days Gone game. It really is a bit of a game changer, because it's, yeah, you'll just see what a hell of a difference it makes when you actually have this equipped. Anyhow, finally onto the scoring. Now, one of the sub-challenges is completely out of the picture because it's basically not required, and that's basically killing freakers. So you don't need to worry about them whatsoever. You might hit one or two of them when you're doing the challenge like this, but that's okay. If you do happen to hit some, you'll get some extra points. No problem. The most important sub-challenges that do have to be taken out are, and I'm starting with the most important, it's called Won't Stop. You basically have to finish the challenge without losing more than 3 seconds of time. You basically start with 20 seconds of time, and you basically have to continually hold the accelerator button and never let go of it. If you do, that timer will start going down. But you can control the speed of the bike to a degree by using the drift button. And there is one section in particular where the drift button is extremely good to use. It's actually something that not everybody is familiar with, and I'll show you. It basically occurs near the very end of the run. Now, on to the next sub-challenge that needs to be taken care of to a gold standard, but it's not a difficult one. It's called Hang Time, and you require 20 seconds of airtime. Now, doing this run in the way that I show, you're guaranteed you will get that 20 seconds. You really don't need to worry about that. And the last one is all to do with boosting using the nitrous. It's called Can't Stop, and the gold requirement to get the 25,000 requires you to boost for 60 seconds in total. But trust me when I say you only require 40 seconds of boost time total. The silver requirements for this will get the job done easily. So, with all that being said and done, the gold score required is 100,000. This is how it's done, folks. Right, most importantly of all for this challenge, make sure that at the start you are pressing the accelerator button and keep it pressed throughout the entire run. Starting off, the first archway, no issues, but the second archway, always make sure to go through it on the right hand side. That just sets you up for your line on this descent here until you get to the bottom, and then use the drift button in order to just slow yourself down and get yourself ready for this next section here. If you happen to hit a couple of freakers, it's all good. Now from here, the line is a fairly straight one. Just follow the line that I take here. When you get to that particular vehicle there, you know you need to go to your left, followed by a right turn. Now, after this next archway, I'm looking to use the boost for the first time. Round about here, press and hold it. That's very important. Once I get to this next archway, it's the drift button again to give myself a left turn, and then it just sets me up nicely for the next lot of arches, because look at how little I have to adjust the direction. I do try and slightly go to the left when heading over that jump. That brings me up to the next section here, and you're usually guaranteed to hit a freaker, but that's all good because it slows the bike down nicely. Again, use of the drift button, then there's 2 jumps coming. Now after I land the second jump, then it's press and holding the boost button. Over the right hand side of that archway there, stop the boost at this point just to get onto that pathway, and then again press and hold the boost. This is important. You're basically getting that boost time filled up nicely. Now I always stop the boost when I hit that jump, but as soon as I've passed that archway, I get the bike straightened up and then onto the boost and holding it for this entire section. By doing this, you basically get a massive amount of boost time very easily and very safely. I only stop when I get to round about that archway. I'm going to turn around the bike and then I'm going to boost again, because when you pass through an archway, it replenishes your nitros. That is how you can do that entire section there with the boost. It also helps that you have the right ring in place. That is why you have the engine ring. From here, make sure you've got the right line coming down this way. It's the last hard part that you're going to have to face, because after this next arch, start pressing the drift button as you're going uphill and it stops the bike. Basically allows you to get full control until you get to the very top here and decide to turn the bike round. Then after that archway there, press and hold the boost, and that's it. It's just a nice straight run to the finish line, and you will get the final time that you need as well for the hang time that you need, which is 20 seconds. Even if you didn't get the 20 seconds of hang time, you would still get the job done there, because that is 15,000 points over the required score, which was 100,000. And I should now get confirmation of the patch here. On to the next challenge. Right, on to challenge number 11, which is going to be Outride. Now, the 2 rings required for this particular challenge are already in place. That is basically Snake, where you basically repair the bike by drifting, and Engine, that is the one where any airtime will create more nitros or give you a nitros boost. So, on to the patch perk. And this particular patch perk is fantastic. It is one of the best in the game. Basically, once you've completed this challenge with a gold score, you get 40% better durability on any melee weapons that you use. Now, given that the last challenge that I have to take on is Survive, and it actually requires you to use melee weapons for one of the sub-challenges, this patch perk is going to be a very welcome addition indeed. But more importantly, this particular patch perk is one of the best you will ever get for using in the main Days Gone game, especially at the very start of a playthrough, because at the very start Deke is quite weak, but the melee weapons that you get at the start are also very weak and of very poor quality, so to get 40% better durability at the start is huge. Anyhow, on to the scoring. Now, of the 4 sub-challenges that are available, only 3 of them need to be addressed. Now, the first 2 are by far the most important. Sickline basically requires you to maintain the multiplier for, it says 120 seconds, so that's basically 2 minutes. And the second one is Air Apparent, where you are required to get 33 seconds of airtime. Now, this one is probably the most important, because the best way of getting the high scores, or certainly the high scoring method on this challenge, is airtime. When you're jumping, not only are you maintaining the multiplier, but your score goes up far greater than it ever will if you're doing drifting. So for that reason, Air Apparent does require your full attention. And throughout the course of this run, because it is so important, I'm actually going to have some screen prompts telling you when you need to be doing light boosts. That is quite literally when you're just tapping the boost button to get a slight bit of extra boost, but without using all of your nitrous. And also at points where you actually need to be holding the boost button in order to get the full benefit. And also the timing of when you hold it is very important too. But I'll explain more about that as the run is taking place. Now, the last sub-challenge is Desert Drifter. Now, to get the gold standard, it requires you to get 25 seconds of drifting. But trust me, the silver requirement for this would probably get the job done, possibly even the bronze, because you do get a very nice time bonus at the end of this run. And if you do it in the way that I do, you'll get through it very quickly, and the time bonus is a big one at the very end, usually around about 40,000 at least. But anyhow, now that that's all explained, let's get to the action. Okay, right at the very start of this challenge, you want to be putting in a quick boost to get to the first archway. After the first archway, you want to move the bike very slightly to the left before that jump. After that, just a quick drift through the next archway and a drift at the bottom section here. Once you've got the bike straightened out, another quick boost. Just line up for this one. Again, another quick boost. Now, when you get to the road section there, that is when you press and hold the boost. You basically get the maximum traction off the road and get the maximum airtime. Now, don't worry about the shoddy landing, because after this, it's all about a whole load of drifting to repair the bike. Now, next part, set for this. When you're on that road section, that is when you hit the boost and you hold it until you're in the air. After the landing here, basically looking to get a bit of drifting coming down this hill. And it's that line basically just to the right of that signpost. And then another quick boost before going over that section there. Then through the trees, turn to the left here, again a quick boost, just nicely gets you to this section, and then press and hold the boost. Important, gets you up that section very quickly, and then another quick boost. From here, over to the left, again, now press and hold. Now, after you land here, really don't worry about the boost at all, because you're carrying quite a bit of speed, and you don't want too much speed for that particular jump. If you do, you will miss that archway and then you're in trouble. From here, yep, another quick boost. Then you want that line going over this hill section to catch that next archway. Now, I like to just do a bit more drifting here, just to slow down the bike and just to set myself up for this next jump. Again, quick boost. Then this section is all about a lot of drifting. But I do always try and make sure to get that jump in. After that, it's on to more drifting. And at this point, yeah, I'm going to hit one of the freakers, but that's all good. I'm basically setting up for this next jump here. Just a slight quick boost, but make sure the line is right or you're in trouble. You have to land on the ramp. If you go right over that, then you'll crash the bike. But after this, just 2 jumps remaining. This next jump, over it straight or to the left, never to the right. And the last jump, that's it, and the job is done. It's very quick, so the time bonus that you get at the end is a fantastic one. And there we go, 125,000. That is 15,000 over the required score, so a job very well done indeed. Right then, on to the last challenge, and this is going to be Survive. Now, the rings required for this are 2 very special ones indeed. The first one is called 1%er. And as the title suggests there, it says headshots decrease reticle size and increase accuracy when stationary. Now, given that you require 75 headshots on this challenge, that ring is huge. The second ring that I'm going to be using is Joker. Basically, sliding picks up any items within a certain distance from you. And when that is fully equipped, you will pick up items from 4 meters away or closer. So, a very nice one to have indeed. Although there is another option that some people might go for instead of the Joker, and that is possibly going for the bullets ring, where when you do a dive roll, the weapon that you're using will fully reload. Some people prefer to have that, but I think Joker is a safer option because the items, as you go further and further into this challenge, you need to be picking them up far quicker in order to be safer. So it's a personal opinion as to which of those 2 you go with, but my 2 rings of choice are the 1%er and Joker. Now, on to the patch perk. The patch perk for this one is not fantastic, but it's basically any health items that you pick up will be 15% more effective. So it's not the worst patch perk that you can ever get, but certainly not the best either. Doesn't make that much of a difference. So anyhow, on to the scoring. Now, all 4 of these sub-challenges are required to be taken out, but only 3 of them need to be taken out to a gold standard. The one that is not as important as the rest, and thankfully it carries the least in the way of a bonus, is brutality, where you're required to kill 30 marauders with a melee weapon. You do not need to worry about that until the very end of the challenge. The first one, which is the most important to start with, is Silent Night. You only require 6 stealth kills, but you want to be taking these out very early because at the very beginning the marauders have very poor weapons. However, as this challenge goes on, that certainly changes. Better weapons start appearing, and although you can pick up some better weapons, yeah, you're going to have to contend with these marauders in order to get them. So after you have taken out Silent Night, then you have to focus on shots fired. You require to get 75 headshots. These have to be in place. Getting anything short of 75 headshots, you will basically struggle to get a gold score on this challenge. Simple as. Now, Relentless is also a very important one. Throughout the course of the challenge, in order to get the gold standard for this, you need to take out 100 marauders. But you really don't need to be worrying about this. That takes care of itself. Every kill that you get goes towards Relentless. And it's worth knowing that I used the kill count that appears on Relentless to know exactly when certain guns or certain melee weapons will appear throughout the course of this challenge. So it becomes a fantastic tool to use in order to get the job done on this challenge. So anyhow, with all that said and done, let's get to the last action. Right then, the marathon session that is Survive. Here we go. I'm going to start by basically working on the Silent Night sub-challenge. This requires you to get 6 stealth kills. Now, you do get a nice, very easy starter with these 2. And unlike some of the other runs that I've shown, where I will try and get some scrap first, don't need to bother when you do the challenge like this. I will explain a little bit more about that later. But now that the next wave of marauders are coming, and that mini-map on the bottom right there pretty much becomes your god when you're playing this challenge. Always be looking at this. It tells you the direction that they're coming from, and of course when they start getting really near. But the basic method of getting this done every time is to get out of their line of sight and then hide in some bushes. They will always eventually walk over to you. You do sometimes have a little bit of a wait, but there we go, there's victim number 1. And yeah, you do sometimes get away with a few more kills from the same bush area, but not here. That's okay because there is another one very nearby. As long as I can get into this area without them seeing me, which they haven't, that's grand. The next 2 stealth kills will be coming very soon. And the beauty of doing it this way as well is, basically every time after you've taken them out with stealth, the body's right beside you. You can basically loot them very quickly too. So this is probably the slowest section of the challenge because it does sometimes take quite a lot of time to get these 6, but this is actually not too bad so far. So here we go. That is marauder number 5 taken care of. So there is a primary weapon there that I can pick up, and you know what, I'm going to use it. It doesn't have many bullets, but yeah, it's a handy one to have. I've seen times where I've played the beginning section just using the 9mm, but this is a bit more accurate, so why not? Now, that's leaving me the last marauder. So this one is most certainly going to be getting taken out with stealth. Now, there's something else that I want to show very unique for this challenge. If you basically go to the menu wheel and select the rock, now, if you press the aim button, don't actually throw the rock, you will eventually, there we go, bloody hell, took long enough, but you will eventually get survival vision where it will show you exactly where they are. This is very handy when you get some of the more lethal marauders later on. With this lot, yeah, it's an absolute doddle right now, but it's really something that you need to see because it is worth knowing about. So now that that sub-challenge is taken care of, the rest of this challenge now is all about the headshots until I get the 75. I'm not saying that I'm never going to use my melee weapon, because there is going to be some cases where I will. And of course at the moment I don't actually have a melee weapon because I didn't pick up the first one at the very start, because it's of no interest to me whatsoever. The first melee weapon will appear when the Relentless total gets to 16. But anyhow, that is 11 taken care of, and there we go. That's the on-screen prompt basically telling me that one of the next Marauders will have an SAF-12, and I badly want it because it is one of the best weapons you can get early in this challenge.
I know where you're at.
So where are we? No, that's a stinger there, I'm sure. Yep, that is the SAF-12. Very nice. And really, for the rest of this challenge as well, there is no special areas that I constantly go to. I'm always basically just looking at the direction in which the Marauders are coming from, and then I'll look to get to points where I can have some form of protection basically from their guns. But anyhow, back to the action, and you will have seen that the number 16 came up on screen, basically saying Sledgehammer, and it's this guy that has it. And what the hell are you waiting for, me? I'm trying to get him closer to me so that I have no issues with picking up the Sledgehammer, because there is only 2 melee weapons I ever look for throughout the entire run, and that particular Marauder does sometimes glitch. I have seen times when I've taken out that Marauder and holy shit, that's a pipe bomb. Always be aware of those. Sorry, what was I saying? Yeah, about the Sledgehammer guy. Sometimes you can take out that guy and all of a sudden the Sledgehammer disappears. It's about the only Marauder I've ever seen this happen with. But unfortunately for me, it's a very important one. And you'll see a little bit later on exactly why I favour the Sledgehammer so much, because I'm not looking for too many kills with it at all. But some of the heaviest hitters that you will get, that Sledgehammer will take them out with one hit. And I will show that later on, but right now, again, it's just looking for the targets and just going for those headshots. Okay, yep, coming from over that way, so yeah, ideally just want to get back over here. Now, where are they? They're taking their time coming over to this position. Oh! Yeah. I did realise that one was coming just when I had a quick look at the minimap there, and all of a sudden it was like really bright red, really close. Someone was coming, but right, okay, on to the next wave. And might as well take the time to get that bandage over there. Now, this isn't an area that I use very often, but it is surprisingly good. You do get a good amount of protection. It's basically, they struggle to catch you unawares. There's nowhere that they can really get to you here without showing themselves. So, yeah, it's a nice area to use. Now, there is one more in play here still, so I do sometimes do this where if there is just one left, I'll take the time to lead them up one section of this graveyard area and then basically start looting the other section. Don't really think there's that much that I need. Do you know what? I am going to take that gun just because it's a little bit more powerful than the 9mm, and it's just handy as a backup weapon should I need it, because the SAF only has so much in the way of ammunition, and although the next weapon that I'm looking for comes up very soon, which is the MWS, you don't want to be running out of ammunition ever in this game. Now, I've just seen the screen prompt telling me that the next wave, one of them will have the MWS, and because I'm low on ammunition on the SAF there, I've just decided to pick up the Stinger it's a pile of crap for this challenge, but what the hell, it's got enough ammunition to get the job done here. And oh, do you know what? I think that Marauder there had the MWS. Come on. Oh, fantastic. That is great, because the last thing you want to do is to spend a lot of time looking for a particular weapon every time. This is why I take out this challenge in the way that I do. I know every single time when the weapon of my choice is about to appear, and this is another fantastic element that I like to add to my run. Basically, when I see the first armoured guy, yeah, I'm looking to pick up the weapon that he has. And it's always a good one, whether it's an MG45 or an RPG. And the big heavy armoured guy actually has, I'm pretty sure he has an MG55. So I've basically got that special weapon purely as a backup should I need it later on. The MWS is now my weapon of choice, and I won't be looking to change that until I've taken out 73 Marauders. So now it really is all about just looking to get these headshots, just constantly looking to get to good positions where I can make my attacks every time. Okay, and you know what, the Eliminator, that's actually worth getting, so I don't go out of my way to look for sidearms, but if I do happen to see a better one than what I already have, it's like, what the hell, why not? And you know what the hell, I'm actually going to use this weapon here. I've only got 3 shots with it at the moment, but that's okay. It'll save the ammunition on this bad boy, because this is a super accurate weapon, and with the amount of ammunition that you get for it, yeah, it's why it's always my #1 weapon when I get the chance to get a hold of it. Something else worth mentioning, whenever you see the ammunition signs on the floor, unlike the Marauders when they're dead and you either have to properly loot them, or in this case I can basically just do a slide and they will be picked up because I've got the Joker ring. But ammunition doesn't work like that. Ammunition you can pick up simply by running over it, so that's something to be aware of. Okay, here we go again, see if I can pick up some other items before they arrive. So I'm just having a look at what I've got right now, inventory wise. And yeah, I want one of those. They are very handy to have, especially late end game. But right now, yeah, the concern is just every time, just try to get their attention early as well, because that way they come directly towards your position. You have time as well to basically take them out a lot easier. I don't like to basically wait and then give my position away when they get very close. I always like to make sure that they know exactly where I am early. And those ones, as relentless as they are, again, the sledgehammer is fantastic because it takes them out with one swing. Now what have we got here? Okay, again, all about just getting a good position and then picking them off. Okay, and again, just a bit more looting. Now, I am starting to get near some very tricky sections coming up. In fact, the next wave after this lot is going to be a problematic one, but I'm going to show you how to take it out easily. And the reason why I'm calling it a problematic one is because it is the first wave that you ever meet that has a fully armoured Marauder. And they are potential challenge game enders. They really are. And because this one appears at this point in the game, you don't want that happening. You know, if you've spent all this time already getting to this stage, just make sure that when this particular one appears that you take care of him effectively, and I am going to show you how to do that. Reason why I was checking my inventory before as well is I wanted to make sure that I at least had a pipe bomb or a grenade, and usually at this stage you do. But because I know what is coming next, because again it's one of the magic numbers, 68, I'm basically looking to loot as many things as possible, get as much ammunition as possible, so that basically I'm prepared. So yeah, nice. Eliminator is done. I'm just gonna take the time here to make sure that they're all reloaded now, because this is just going to be one shot for this one now. So once I've got this guy out of the picture, I need to be prepared for the next two waves, because these are the two most important waves now coming up in the entire challenge. So where are they? Nice, here they come. Just move back, get a little bit of protection here. I want them all to come running, taking out the weakest ones first. That's just going to leave 3. Yep, I've got 1 grenade. That's going to take out 2 of these 3. And that will basically now just give this one my sole attention. It's just to get the helmet off, and then there we go. I don't care how many bullets it takes there, it was just making sure that I get that Marauder out of the picture. Now, the next lot. 2 weapons that I require. The most important melee weapon in the game, because it's a fire axe. It is fantastic. It's one swing, one kill stuff for every one of them. So I'm looking to get those 2 up in this area here, and then pick that up right now. Now, pretty much all the rest of this lot will have a PDW. But I'm just going to take time here to actually get a few melee kills. Because you know what? I only require 10 of them in order for the way that I do this challenge to work. I probably will take out a few more later on, but that is it. 10 is all that is required. It's, oh, yep, and I am moving because that was another throwable in my direction. So, okay. On to the next lot. It all now is just about taking out this last lot as safely as possible. And you know what? There's something up here. Wait a minute. Did I pick up the PDW? No, I fucking well didn't. Okay, that's why. The only reason I actually noticed there was because the reticle that you use with the PDW, it gets ridiculously small, and it is ridiculously accurate. But it's not a problem. I'm quite literally going to make sure that I'm going to take out some of these Marauders in this section, but I'm going to make sure to leave 1, and then get that 1 person up to this area, and then just basically go past them and go back down to the bottom area where I can find that PDW in safety. But right now I do need some more health. Now, there'll be one around here somewhere. Yeah, I'll take the time to loot that one. Wait a minute, yeah, over here. There we go. So as soon as I picked up that bad boy, there will be a lot of ammunition about the area for this. So at the moment I don't have a great deal, but I'm going to change all that. Yep, there's ammo there. That's probably for the PDW. Yes, most certainly is. 10 pistol ammo, and there's more right there as well. Because I've only got the 1 Marauder left to take out here, I just want to be fully prepared for basically the last waves. And when you see what a good job this PDW does, oh, you'll see why I want this one so badly. Even though I forgot to fucking pick it up when it first became available. However. So, where is this bugger? He's over here somewhere. Ah, there we go. Seen the light. Yep, just let him walk into the site. Yeah. You know what? I will take that one. There's more ammunition for it there, and yeah, I could get a bit more, but no, I'm just going to head back over here and now just let this do its thing. This is what it's all about. Just need to get these last headshots although I'm not going to stop using the guns. They are a lot safer than using melee weapons, but there is one point, and I'll probably do it at the very end, where I'll have a little bit of fun. But right now, no. I want now to get the Relentless up to 100 kills. So it wouldn't even matter whether I actually get headshots now at this point, because that's already been taken care of. It's just all about getting the 100 kills now, because by doing the challenge this way, I know pretty much guaranteed every time that once that the count for Relentless gets to 100, I will get the gold. So you know what? What the hell? I've got another grenade. Let's use it. Ah, didn't quite get them all. Right, watch for that one though. One more. Hallelujah. There we go. Job is done. Now, at this point, because I have the 100 kills with Relentless, I no longer have a count that I can work off, but that's okay. At this point in the game, there is quite literally just one wave left. And yeah, I'm making sure that I've got one smoke bomb. This is where I'm going to have a bit of fun. Smoke bomb out. And holy shit, took a bit of damage there, so I want that corrected before I come out here. And here we go. When you get up close and personal like this, they really struggle to get any shots off at all. As you can see here, look at that. All of them done. And there we go, that is the challenge finally completed. And that is all 12 of the Days Gone Challenge Mode challenges taken care of easily with a gold score. And there we go, folks. It's been a long road, certainly been a long video, but it's been totally worth it. That is all 12 challenges taken out in the easiest way possible with a gold score. And as well as this, I have unlocked every single patch perk that is available and to its highest level, which is a huge advantage for the main Days Gone game. And that brings me very nicely to the end of this video. All I can say is thank you so much for watching, folks, and I hope you all enjoyed this video. Take care.